Welcome to Sacred Success, the alchemy of spiritual business, where Michelle Barr talks to conscious entrepreneurs and spiritual seekers about creating a better life and a better business now. Building your own business is the most intensive personal and spiritual growth and development course you could ever enroll in. And that's why Michelle does the work she does for you. We're glad you're here with Michelle Barr on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Radio Network at Sacred Business Success. Welcome to my show. Hello to conscious entrepreneurs and conscious entrepreneurs in the making. I speak to the healers and helpers of the world, those with a big message, spiritual teachers, conscious business owners, people who have a life's calling and they're aware of that, and success for them has to include purpose and meaning, and that's what I speak to, and that's what I teach. You can get all my past shows in the archives at Radio OMTimes and listen to them. You can download them to go, listen to them at your convenience. Every week, I bring you some takeaways and some tools that you can incorporate into your life. My wish and hope for you is that first you learn these tools, concepts, principles, and practices, and then they become a way of living and a way of being instead of just something you do. And so that's how my life and my business have evolved, and that's what I bring to you. I have been bringing you material over the past few weeks from my upcoming book, The Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action. You can get a sample chapter of that, which includes my IOA formula for success, and find out all about the book at The Entrepreneur's Guide to Taking Action.com. I invite you to come over there. I invite you to connect with me on Facebook. I show up on Facebook every day, run my business a lot through Facebook and that community, and have built a community. I show up and I inspire and motivate and educate and inform. And those are the four big things that you want to do in social media. That's how you build your business. You provide value. You show up and you inspire, you motivate, you educate, and you inform. And you'll have a few of those that you're stronger in and that your community wants more. My community actually uses my Facebook page like a magazine or a newspaper. They go to it for inspiring and motivating material. And I also have resources and things that educate and inform. So I invite you to think about, how are you using social media or not using social media in your business, especially as conscious entrepreneurs with a message. We have a point of view. We get up on our soapbox. We want to change the world. And we're realizing that you can't change the world when you're broke. And that's why we've decided to build these businesses, to stand in our value and worth so we can truly make a bigger and better impact in the world while also serving our own highest good and taking care of ourselves. Believe me, I know, I've tried. You cannot change the world when you're broke. I talk all about that at my website, fromcallingtocash.com. So come over. I've got free resources for you, free training calls. Just click on the tab, a free training video, blog articles, all of that. I'm here to serve you because my passion is to get you out in the world with your gifts. That is my passion. My calling is to call you to action. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this weekly radio show. Things are just hopping over here at Michelle Barr Unlimited, and I'm really excited serving clients all over the world, working with local clients, working with people all over the place, doing all kinds of things. So I love that you've come into my community, whether you've been here a while or you're here for the first time. And I hope you'll settle in and stay a while and see what we have here for you. There's a lot of energy in my show today because I am talking about move or be moved. It's always your choice. And I'm telling you, I lived a lot of years living what I call life by default before it got painful enough and I realized enough that it was time to live my life by design. And that evolved into building and growing this business because I created a vision of the life I wanted to live. And then I created a business that supports and sustains that. And that's what I'm here to teach you. And it is one part marketing to make it work and one part mindset to make it happen. So I've been getting a lot into the mindset stuff to really set the stage for you, to really get you thinking. I have lots of strategy, lots of proven strategies, lots of systems and processes that are really grounded, that are really focused and clear and can help you get into business. I have a group of intuitive women entrepreneurs right now building a bigger and better business in 90 days, and I have them week 1 in action. I'm all about get inspired and take action. My business was master the art of taking action. So I'm really here to serve you on all these different levels. I think it's the only way it works. And that's why my private clients and my group clients come to me. And I hope you'll show up here every week or make time to listen to these radio shows and just really soak it in, because you'll be receiving on a lot of levels. You'll hear something every week that will just really land and stay with you. And then some of it'll sink in over time. And that's how you absorb when you're really trying to shift paradigms, when you're really trying to make sustainable change. And that's my goal and intention for you. So let's get into it. I talk about moving, about mastering the art of taking action, because for a while it was the missing piece in my business and with my clients. We love, a lot of us, to get in there and do the energetic work. And I say do the energetic work first. It paves the way, it loosens things up, it makes everything better. Then you've got to get into action, or else you're living up there in your thoughts, your visions, and your dreams, and your physical life isn't what you want it to be. I took the M.O.V.E and I made it into a formula that I'm going to be sharing with you today on this show. And you can take my MOVE formula and apply it to move forward in any area of your life, any area of your life. I created a few years ago a free 21-day email course, and you can still get that at intuitivesuccesscoach.com, intuitivesuccesscoach.com. It was so popular, I still make it available, and it's not business oriented. It will work for any area of your life, and you work with me as your personal coach for 21 days, and it will take you 15 or 20 minutes or less a day to invest in yourself and start moving in your life. So I invite you to get that and start working with it. Many of my clients share that they have this big thing they feel they are called to do in the world. They think they have gifts. They want more fulfillment in their lives. They're experiencing exactly the longing that I knew for so many years before I began living a life of significance and success. I was living sometimes a life with some success and sometimes a life of significance, but really being able to integrate and blend and marry the two made all the difference, so that I can show up fully in my life all the time as me, being me, and doing what I'm made to do. There are a lot of things I can do, and I have lived out my life purpose in a lot of different ways over the years as I grew and evolved into where I am now. I am certain now that I am the happiest and most fulfilled. I manifest the easiest and the best, and life is good when I am living an integrated life. And that's what I teach my clients to do. That's why it's not just marketing or it's not just mindset, it's all of it. I'm a former mental health therapist, turned hospital chaplain, turned energy medicine specialist, turned coach, and I bring all of that to the table for you every time I work with you. There was a time in my life when I wasn't even sure that what I wanted was possible. And I've come to learn now that when you have a desire, it is springing up from inside of you, and there is always a way. There are always opportunities. We just don't always recognize those opportunities. I had built a life where I was caught up in all my obligations and responsibilities and all the roles I was playing. It didn't even occur to me yet that I had created it, all of it, all the busyness in my life. I had created it myself. And then I used it as an excuse not to have what I wanted, be what I wanted, and do what I wanted. Let that one land. Yeah. What I want to share with you today is that it all starts with making a decision. The M in MOVE, make a decision. You make a decision to create change. You decide to move forward. Those first few steps in this direction, they can feel like wading in quicksand, but stay with it. I always love that little piece in Finding Nemo, the keep swimming, and I've made that into an image, keep swimming, and I signed my name to it, and I send it to my clients. A lot of the times on Facebook, I send it to remind them, keep swimming. It gets better, it gets easier. You're shifting so much physiologically, energetically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You are shifting. You are creating new neural net pathways in your brain. Keep swimming. What I want to share with you today is that making that decision. Imagine. We will be right back to talk more about this. Time is really flying today. I'm Michelle Barr. See you again in just a minute.
OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
Simone Milasas would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com.
Radio Namaste leads you down the yellow brick road into portals of consciousness with the blue-collar goddess as your host. Interviews with humans who could be famous or just popular, and answers to everything are on the agenda. Tune into OMTimes Radio and drop in on Thursdays at 3 Eastern. It's a different brand of enlightenment.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr with your Sacred Business Success Radio Show. I am your personal Sacred Business Success Coach, intuitive strategist, and mindset mentor. A spiritual business mentor just for you. Thanks for joining me today. I want to tell you, as I was getting going there, and I actually all of a sudden got so caught up in it, I missed the intro to the break. Yesterday, I had a private client, and my private client told me after I was talking to her that I just gave her a Nelson Mandela speech. I just gave her a Nelson Mandela moment. And I really loved that because I saw where she was struggling. And I tapped into that. And what I did was I just spoke to her higher knowing. And I reminded her who she really is and what she's here to be and do. So I loved that. I put it up on Facebook. You can see it if you come over to my Facebook page, Michelle B. Barr. And that Nelson Mandela moment. And I'm bringing this up because that's how I'm feeling today. I just am so on fire with this and bringing this to you today and excited by everything going on and all of you showing up and all the movement and helping you create this in your own life that I was feeling again like another Nelson Mandela moment. So that's going to become one of my things now. And hopefully I'm giving you some Nelson Mandela moments. Imagine you're suddenly changing course and turning a huge ship or a giant jet plane around. As you build momentum, you are uplifted into a new energy and everything begins to move in your favor. The key is you have to take that first step, right? And you have to do it before everything shows up. Before everything shows up. This is where it can feel like wading in quicksand. You are changing course. You are turning this giant thing, this whole life around and changing course. This is where a lot of my clients get tripped up. And maybe you too. Waiting for better timing, right? More money, more security in a relationship, closure in a situation, any number of things that they perceive need attention. We're talking about your whole life here, and all those things will get addressed once you start moving. In fact, what happens is a lot of it will begin to take care of itself in what feels like a very natural way. It will move with you. I can't stress this enough and borrow my belief until you've built your own. I saw it from the beginning when I was serving clients in 90 days to transformation. They'd come to me and they'd say, all these things are a mess. And then we'd focus on one big piece. They're all connected and they can't often see because it's their own stuff. I have that problem in my own life. It gets easier the more you work with it. But I could see the patterns and how it was all completely connected. So just like that web or that grid of energy and how you do anything is how you do everything, you will end up affecting and addressing all areas of your life. And what happens when you start stepping forward, taking that first step before everything shows up, before the evidence shows up, stuff starts moving, but in a very natural way, and it moves with you. I've had people want to come out of jobs and they're fighting themselves so much with it, emotionally, mentally, energetically, all of that they're pushing against. And when we work together, they end up coming out of those jobs way earlier than they thought and way easier. And that is a miracle to watch. It drives me crazy to see my clients and students and my potential clients and students just like you stuck here, right here in this place. Nothing happens here except that it eats away at you. The best time is always now. You hear it. So why don't you believe it? What are you afraid of? Yes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time to plant a tree is now. Now, what are you meant to take out into the world today? You can trust the right timing and that there's a higher knowing within you, and everything is coming together just as it should, and every moment before now has led up to this. You're wasting energy, you're leaking energy, and you're sabotaging yourself when you focus on what you haven't done, what you shoulda, coulda, woulda, all the lost opportunities, everything you missed. You're standing in this place right now. This is what the M.O.V.E. is all about, bringing your point of power back into this moment right now. There are two aspects competing for your time, energy, and resources. They are battling for it. Which one wins? Whichever one you feed. Understand this. Energy never stands still. You are always either moving towards or away from what you desire. You make a decision. Even with your indecision and inaction, you make a decision. A decision to put off your highest good, to turn a deaf ear or a blind eye to what is calling you to come forth. You are here for a purpose. I now live my soul purpose. Do you live yours? You are here for a purpose. You are a part of the plan. The life of your dreams, a life you love that supports you, is within reach. You have to create it. You do. And you have to create it every day, consistently, boldly, relentlessly. Some days it'll be baby steps. I still have those days. Baby steps. I serve baby steppers and ledge leapers, and this works equally well. It all starts when you make a decision. The first step in my M.O.V.E. process for moving forward in any area of your life. So pause for a moment and consider just this. What decision can you make for your highest good today? Can you go there with me? What decision can you make for your highest good today? It's important to know yourself. Whenever you are thinking about making a big life transition, there are really three ways to go about it. Knowing yourself well can make a difference in the amount of stress you experience during this time, as well as the amount of success you are able to create. I talk a lot about taking honest inventory, and this is one of those times when the payoff for doing this consistently can be huge. You want to pay attention both to the actions you are taking and not taking, and to the energy you are carrying about it. When I work with clients who come to me ready to make a move, or at least considering the possibility, I always take some time with them first to explore their hardwiring and their mindset. I have had clients who have very successfully taken big leaps on the spot without much looking back at all, and have been able to move forward very quickly without experiencing a lot of fallout. The energy they are holding is that as they go off the side of that cliff, either the road will rise up to meet them, or they will grow wings and be taught how to fly. The key to making this work is that they immediately get into massive action and stay in massive action. Know yourself. If you are not a risk taker, the stress you might cause yourself in taking that big leap will work against the positive energy you need to just keep swimming. For these clients, I suggest they determine what I call a tolerate day, a tolerate date. They are using up valuable time and energy spinning in how much they don't like where they are, how unhappy they are, and they get into a lot of asking how things might change for them. By setting a date with yourself, the absolute maximum time you are willing to tolerate these circumstances, you stop the mind's endless chatter about it, and you satisfy its need to know. Now everything will begin to conspire to work for you toward that goal. And you're no longer working against yourself. As you shift from the negative energy to the positive energy, you begin to be differently and to do things differently. And things start to come together for your benefit. Very often, people end up coming out of their undesirable circumstances much sooner than the date they set. And it happens in a much more natural way. That's what I was talking about just a minute ago. Then there are those who continue to work with the positive energy of their growing desire. They are visualizing it, feeling it, and sending their order out to the universe. But they're not taking any action and they have not set any goals. What most often happens here is that as the desire grows stronger and the feelings associated with it become a part of who you are, the universe begins to work in your favor in response to your ever-increasing desire. Because you're not taking action, you're not creating space, and you are not letting go of what no longer serves you. I really want you to get this piece because it's where people end up suddenly in a big mess. And they can't figure out at all why. They're doing all their affirmations, they're setting their intentions, they're doing it during the new moon cycle and the full moon cycle. They're doing all those things, but they actually create a big mess for themselves. And we're going to talk about this in just a moment. Stay with me. Think about what I asked you. I'll be right back.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. M.O.V.E. Host your show on M.O.V.E., the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on M.O.V.E. immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book? Or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Live with medium Lisa Phoenix, Mediumship Messages and Musings, explores mediumship and all things metaphysical. Lisa Phoenix invites you to reach above and beyond your everyday experiences, to explore new dimensions in the spirit world. She will do live readings to connect callers to their loved ones in spirit, shares engaging stories and teachings from her own personal experience, and will have intriguing conversations with other mediums, spiritual teachers, and healers to help you understand the metaphysical world so you can connect to these forces in your day-to-day life. Join your host on this magical and metaphysical journey into the world of spirit every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hello, welcome back. This is Michelle Barr, and today at Sacred Business Success Radio, we are talking about something very important, move or be moved. We're talking about, right before the break, when you're in that space where you're working with the positive energy, you're aware of your growing desire, you're visualizing it, feeling it, sending your order out into the universe, but you're not taking any action. And you haven't set any goals. When I talk about make a decision has not been made until an action is taken. So what most often happens here is that as the desire grows stronger and the feelings associated with it become a part of who you are, the universe begins to work in your favor in response to your ever-increasing desire. Because you're not taking action, you're not creating space, and you're not letting go of what no longer serves you. What you end up seeing here, and you're going to get this when I say it, is that whole thing where it appears the rug being ripped out from under you. This is when you are suddenly forced out of a job, a home, a relationship, or a geographical location, and then people are caught so off guard, and then they misinterpret that as, I'm not supported. Spirit isn't supporting me. The universe isn't supporting me. Why does this always happen to me? You created this. You are a powerful creator. Your desire was growing and growing and growing, and you kept talking about it. You kept telling people about it. You kept visioning it, feeling it, doing affirmations, doing all the energetic work. So the universe has to give it to you. Ask and it is given. At the same time, you haven't made space for it. You haven't opened up and you haven't taken action. At some point, something has to give. The rubber band has to break. And suddenly, things will happen because the universe will deliver it to you. We just don't always get to orchestrate the how of that. Each of these is a choice. The more responsibility you are willing to take, the more power you are given over your own life. I teach a lot in continuums because things are not absolute. You're always standing in an energy that is a blend, a mixture. And one of those continuums is where I once lived on one end of the scale at victim. Everything happens to me, no responsibility for my own life. To the other end, creator. Taking 100% responsibility for my life. And you don't just jump from one to the other. It's a skating, it's a moving along that continuum. The more responsibility you are willing to take, the more power you are given over your own life. The more you create the life you want to be living. It is all about becoming conscious and aware and taking action. So then you come to this place. Okay, well, what is my next step? I haven't been without a coach since 2009. I've had different coaches, but I have not been without one, and I wouldn't be. This is where this can be helpful. I meet with people every day for intuitive private consultations to help people get moving, whether it's 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or a whole long VIP day. Here's what you want to know. You only need to know the next step to take the next step. Too often, people come to me for coaching, for support and guidance, and they are just sitting and spinning in place because they don't know all the steps. And there was a time in my life when I did this, and it took a coach to help me see it. And so they take no steps. Once I put something off for way too long because I didn't know step 4. But I knew step 1, 2, and 3, but I didn't take step 1, 2, and 3 because I didn't know step 4. But that's the greatest thing about how this works, how you work with the universe, how it all works together. The dots get connected. Those steps aren't revealed until I take step 1, 2, and 3, or even step 1. Doors start opening. People start showing up. But I got stuck in my head, but I don't know how to do all of it, so I'm going to do no of it. None of it. Taking no steps. I told you I work with both ledge leapers and baby steppers, and it doesn't matter which one you are or what you are most comfortable doing right now. It's all about taking that next step. That is the only way. The steps beyond that will show themselves to you. So don't waste any more time sitting still. This is where I really jump up and start having one of those Nelson Mandela moments. You are ready to get moving forward in the direction of your dreams and desires, to create a better life now, right now. Know that there are no mistakes and you cannot fail. Really get that. There are no mistakes and you cannot fail. They're all choices. There's a choice point in every moment, and you make a choice. You make a choice to move or you make a choice to be moved. It's your choice. You have a tool, course correction, that you can use as you are learning to read feedback from the universe. Get into a quiet, reflective, or meditative state and ask yourself, that part of you that already knows the answers, what is my next step? Here's a tool you can use. Add it as a practice and do it. Take time later and do it. Do it today. Do it this weekend. Remember, you only need to know the next step to take the next step. Imagine if you're planning on driving from the West Coast to the East Coast. You have a map, so you know the direction you want to move in, and you have a destination where you would like to arrive. But even with a map, you cannot know and plan for everything that will show up along the way. You trust yourself to make this journey. You're prepared. You have made a decision to go, and you are committed. Imagine that you are traveling at night. You can only see as far as your headlights shine out in front of you. And you make the journey this way all night long. Of course, you can't see all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. Every step you take, every mile you travel, everything is changing in every moment. People are coming and going and may or may not cross your path depending, excuse me, people are coming and going and may or may not cross your path depending on the decisions and choices you make. You even have a choice of routes to take. You get to determine your speed and whether you want to get there fast or take a more scenic route, whether you want to stop along the way and visit people or places, learn things, or simply rest. You would not question in the middle of this journey, will I still end up at my destination? Will I be able to get to the East Coast? You would not doubt and turn back out of fear. You would keep moving forward. If you got stuck, you would get help. If you got lost, you would stop and get some better directions. This journey is much the same. As you move along, you're changing every minute. With every person and thing that crosses your path, with every experience you have and all that you encounter, you are different halfway through the journey than you were at the beginning. You've seen different things, experienced different things, and felt different things. Most likely, you've made some changes in your plans along the way. The longer the journey from here to there, the more this will happen for you. Delight in the journey. There's so much to experience along the way. Here is a gift for you. Be excited for your journey. Your journey is now and always has been. I really want you to get this. I see this so much and I lived it for so long. You have never not been on your journey and on your path. No matter the U-turns, the distractions, the turning back, the side trips, and the stops you have made along the way, you are journeying. The more you can enjoy the journey and being with yourself on this journey, supporting yourself unconditionally, the better it will be for you. What is my next step? Ask yourself this. Remember, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Here's the important part of this, and every successful person will tell you this. When you receive that next step, you need to move into action. Take that next step, because once you do, then the next one and the next one and the next one will unfold. I call it following the breadcrumbs. I've been there, hesitating, not moving, not taking action, stuck in my stuff for sure. So many of my clients come to me when they are exactly in this place. Maybe you're exactly in this place right now. They get clarity and they experience desire. Then they keep getting in their own way and just sit there while everything around them is trying to come together to support them. If they would just move. That seems to be the place that gets people, that they have to take real, physical, third-dimensional action to manifest in this physical world what they want. Sad to say, I've seen some of my clients and students, and I have experienced myself, the cosmic 2x4 comes swinging around while I'm just sitting there. I call this a brick to the head moment. You know the one I mean. I have learned to start moving much more in the direction of my pleasure instead of using pain as a motivator and moving away from my pain. And guess what? I have many less brick to the head moments. I want you to think about this. I'm going to be back. I have more, so we will talk in a minute.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Join Elliot Jolish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jolish Hour as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jolish Hour. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Imagine receiving healing, vibration-raising energy as you listen to the radio. Energy that flows effortlessly to you. Imagine exploring all things metaphysical, sharing in an ongoing adventure. Join me, Karen Smoot, along with my co-hosts Lisa Victorson and Wendy Weber, for Immersion into Source every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on OM Radio.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hello, this is Michelle Barr. Welcome back. How does that sound? No more brick to the head moments, or at least a lot less of them. When we start moving forward and getting into action and following the breadcrumbs, the minute you start asking, it is given. It doesn't always show up as we expected. It is given as opportunity. Sometimes things do fall into our lap, but then there's still steps to take after that. I have learned the universe always will connect the dots, and I always have to take the first step, and I've made peace with that. The best part of this is just that you need to take consistent baby steps in alignment with what you have told the universe and yourself that you want. It's very effective, the baby steps. Just don't stop the momentum by standing still. Learn to act, assess, adjust, course correct, act, assess, adjust. Don't get into that stop-start, in and out energy. It makes a mess. Every day, ask yourself, what is my next step? Ask yourself and ask your guidance. And when you get an answer, act on it. Do this every day. Do not miss a day. The more you work with this, the more quickly and frequently the answers will come. And the minute you start acting, the minute you start asking, ask before you act, the minute you start asking, become hyper alert to every little thing that shows up in your world. Random inspirations, connections that you haven't had in a long time, ideas to contact somebody, taking a different path, getting invited to a luncheon, all of those have paid off for me. Here's something to know about this too. Do this every day. Often you won't receive the answer right away while you're sitting there waiting for it. Sometimes we have to stop trying so hard, like when you're trying to remember a name so you can tell someone and then suddenly you cannot come up with it at all. So do the asking, then go on with your business for the day. It will come in. Watch for it. Notice everything that shows up. Expect it. It will come in for you. And I want to give you a few steps, a little formula. This is how it works. And I count on it. I see it with my clients all the time. This is just 7 little steps that goes along with what we're talking about. Pay attention to your desires. Make a decision. Start taking action. Notice, a decision is not a decision until you take an aligned action. Continue to be in action in the direction of what you say you want. Watch for opportunities. Follow the breadcrumbs. Receive your good. Don't stop. Pay attention to your desires, make a decision, start taking action, watch for opportunities, follow the breadcrumbs, receive your good, and don't stop. For those of you who were really attracted to sacred business success and are ready to be in action in your business and want to know how I can be a spiritual business mentor for you and how I can best help you turn your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business, and you're ready to start getting in the nuts and bolts of it. I have proven systems and processes that I use for that, and I will be teaching them on this radio show. If you're ready to dive in, I want to share with you right now how you can connect with me and my spiritual business school, where I provide you with the marketing to make it work and the mindset to make it happen. You can find that at spiritualbusinessschool.org. spiritualbusinessschool.org. I invite you to go over there. I've got testimonials. I've got information. I've got things for you to look at. I've got resources. And if what is my next step is that, go check it out. And then come talk to me. I offer 10 complimentary consultations a month to connect with new clients and help you find your best next step, whether that's working with me, crossing paths with me for a short time and moving on, or becoming my client and staying in my world and receiving the support and guidance I have for you. Talking about all this, I want to share with you then some real life examples. I call this the universe don't play that game, a true story. Because you see, I know this stuff. I teach this stuff. I coach my clients through this stuff. And I have to live this stuff. That's right. 2013 was a tough year for me. I thought it was going to be my breakout year, and instead it turned out to be my breakthrough year. All in divine right timing, though. Trust. You learn to trust the process, trust the timing, trust spirit, and trust yourself. I was teetering gleefully on the edge of a much bigger business. Things were going great in 2012. I had leaped off some ledges, and I was flying high. You'll hear me tell you, and I did again today, I attribute a large part of my success to making the decision to hire my first business coach in 2009 and to continue to make the decision to not be ever without one. At the end of each year, I'm often in search for my new business coach for the new year. That becomes part of my soapbox. I wouldn't hire a coach who didn't have a coach. If you are a coach or wanting to be a coach and your business is not doing well or not even getting off the ground, you need to hire a coach. And here's why energetically. You cannot sell something you yourself do not believe has value. If you're not using it in your business and your life, you can't convey to others why they should. I had to learn to apply all of this. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I came into 2013 with some skewed thinking and some off-track perceptions about what I most needed right then. I was seeing success up close and personal, and I had a big goal I wanted to achieve in that new year, and I went for it. I made some big mistakes, and I learned a lot. I was getting in my own way. What clouded my judgment and kept me from that next level of success was a story I was holding on to and allowing to have power over me, my life, and my business. My husband and I had made a big lifestyle move, preparing to be empty nesters and creating the life we wanted to live in the next stage of our journey together. Everything was going great. But something happened with the house we were living in before, and things stopped going the way we had planned. We had a house, a much bigger house, and we had to keep paying for it and maintaining it, stuck in the past while trying to move forward into this wonderful present we had created for ourselves. We hadn't seen it coming. Everything in our current world was completely aligned and delivering us the life of our dreams, while we kept being pulled back into the past with this house. I got stressed and angry, and I created a story about it, which followed me into 2013. I can't hire the coach I really need right now because that house won't sell. I can't join the program I really need because the house won't sell. I can't get that great office I have always wanted because the house won't sell. It held me back. I told the universe the story. I told everybody who would listen the story. And so it was. Because whatever you say is. I struggled all year long. I hired coaches that were not the coach I needed and wanted. I put off making the best decisions for my business. I played it small and I played it safe and I played it wrong. It started affecting my life. As the story grew bigger, It created more and more sorrow and pain for me until I had finally had enough and I had to drink my own medicine. I had a lot of private clients in my coaching program and students coming into my spiritual business school. What was I telling them? What was I speaking to others at retreats and meetings, on telesummits and radio shows? I had allowed myself to stay stuck almost all year long, and then I had enough. That November, I pulled myself out of my story. I looked at what I teach and what I believe. I did the hardest thing. I made a decision. I owned it 100%. I believed and I took action. And that's when everything in my world and my business changed. Only then did the universe conspire on my behalf. I had to laugh, of course, because I knew it all along and I could have done it earlier. But I chose to learn the lesson, and now I share the lesson with you. When I changed that, I stepped in and I made commitments and decisions. When I stepped up, the clients stepped up. I hired the coach I had wanted and needed all along. An office space became available where I had been wanting an office for several years, and I took it. And after I did all those things, then my house sold. And then I got more new clients showing up, ready to get started and paying in full. And then some extra money came in that we had been waiting on for 10 years. You can't make this up. What story are you telling the universe right now about how it is that is not serving you? I'm going to leave that with you today. Thank you for being with me. This is Michelle Barr on OMTimes Radio Network. I will see you next week.